Hi, welcome to a video that could help you save hundreds of pounds on your UK rail travel. We promise you it's not a scam and it's perfectly legal.
This is a simple guide to the concept of split rail ticketing, which, if used effectively, can save significant amounts of money on the cost of some journeys.
I'm Lou.
And I'm John of Independent Travel Reviews, and over the next few minutes we're going to share with you the results of years of experience and hours of research.
In this video, you're going to get impartial advice and we'll show you how we save, in some cases, over 50% on the cost of our rail travel. With just a few moments of research, you can identify options to split your rail ticket, but not necessarily your journey, into several legs and thus save money. You can do this with virtually no knowledge of the rail ticketing system. We'll tell you about websites which do all the work for you. There are several to choose from, and we'll recommend ones which we use and think do a good job.
Split ticketing is where you use more than one rail ticket for a journey. Let's say, for example, you're going from Reading to Wolverhampton. You want to take one of the direct cross-country services which takes a couple of hours. To buy the ticket on the day for the cheapest walk-up single ticket would cost you £70 and 40p. But if you split the journey into 4 segments, buying your tickets on the day from the Reading ticket office immediately before departure, using exactly the same train and seat, you can pay as little as £40 and 70p.
So, you might be asking yourself, is it legal? Do I have to get off the train or change 4 times? Firstly, it's legal and allowed for in the National Rail Terms and Conditions. Ticket inspectors are familiar with it and, provided you are complying with the rules, you won't have a problem. In the example we've just given, you don't have to get off the train or change. All you need to do is ensure that you comply with perhaps the most important principle, which is that the train or trains you travel on must call at each of the stations at the start and end of each split ticket leg. In the example above, the train must call at Banbury, Leamington Spa and Coventry. But the great thing about the split ticket websites we're going to recommend is that they do that research for you. So if you follow them, then you shouldn't get caught out.
You may well have some other questions or preconceptions about split ticketing, and if you hang around to the end of the video, then we go through common myths and some key tips which will help you. But let's go straight into identifying which websites we'd suggest you use and give you a worked example. Now bear in mind this is just one example. The permutations are almost endless, and towards the end of the video we give you a list of some of the other savings which we've identified, as well as a couple of examples which show just how bonkers the UK rail fare system really is.
So one of our go-to places for checking rail times and fares is the National Rail website. It does not offer split ticket advice and doesn't sell tickets directly. However, it does act as a good starting point. It typically shows the fastest routes between points, but these are often the most expensive fares. Our worked example is for a 250-mile journey along the UK's south coast from Hale in Cornwall to Fareham in Hampshire. This journey takes between 6 and 7 hours and entails typically at least 2 changes of train, even for the fastest trips. Splitting your ticket can potentially save you money whether you are booking several weeks or just a few minutes ahead of travel. For our example, we're going to show fares for a single adult journey planned 2 weeks ahead of time, but the websites which we use will allow you to research return journeys as well.
If we put our details into the National Rail website first, we see that leaving around 9 in the morning offers us these options. Let's focus on the 0924 because it's one of the fastest. If we drill into the pricing, we can see that the fare of £111.50 is an advance fare, which is of course non-refundable, but can be changed for a £10 admin fee, subject to availability at the new date and time. One thing to note is that this advance fare is only 40p cheaper than the flexible ticket. So in reality, if buying this ticket, you would probably be better advised buying the flexible, refundable ticket rather than committing to the advance ticket. Let's put the same search into the split ticket sites now. Our 2 recommended sites do actually use the same algorithm, but present the results differently. Split My Fare has what we think is a simpler format, but the Rail Forum site is more customizable and offers more options.
They both offer the ability to put in the same data as as the National Rail website, including a rail card if you have one. And one thing to note with the Rail Forum's website is that we generally select intensive search under the Advanced Options tab. Split My Fare presents the results like this. The cheapest column will generally include trains with advanced tickets, if there are any, and the flexible column only shows walk-up fares. The split icon in the corner shows where a split ticket fare is found, and the pound sign shows the cheapest fare from those currently on display. Now, the train we'd previously selected, the 924, is being offered here for either £56.68 or £68.98. If you want to know what the connections would be, then you can click in the I button and this display comes up. Your next question is probably what tickets make up this journey. To find that out, you select the journey you're interested in and scroll to the bottom. Even if you select Book Now, you are not yet committed. This page comes up, and by selecting this down arrow, it shows you the tickets making up this journey. It tells you that there are advanced tickets in the booking and what each leg is. In this case, 5 tickets, 2 of which are advanced fares.
We'll come back to the price breakdown box in a moment, but if you want to proceed and buy these tickets via this site, then Continue takes you to the credit card payment portal. Now, if you don't want a fare that includes advanced tickets, then just go back to the results page and select the flexible fare. The ticket set for this comprises 7 walk-up fares which can all be bought on the day of travel. The Rail Forum site presents the results like this. You can toggle between fixed time and flexible fares, and these 2 buttons and the 3 buttons here allow you to explore the cheapest options, which may involve more changes, the fastest, and the system's evaluation of a compromise between the 2. It's worth noting that the times of trains that this site offers you will change as you toggle between all these buttons, so keep an eye out for this. If you want to know what connections are for a train, then click on the red text here, and to find what tickets make up this fare, then select the fare in question and click proceed. On this site it shows you automatically what tickets are in the journey, and it's identified the same selection as Split My Fare for this journey, which includes 2 advanced tickets.
Let's just go back to the price breakdown box on Split My Fare and the equivalent on Rail Forums, which is at the bottom of the second page on the right. The way that these sites make a profit and fund their future development is by charging you a percentage of the amount saved if you find a split ticket journey. In this instance, the tickets for the advanced journey came to a total of £61.40, and the system is comparing that to the flexible fare, which we saw on National Rail of £111.90. The saving is £50.50. And the system is charging 15% of that as its commission, £7.58.
In the spirit of complete openness, you do not have to buy your tickets from these sites. You could use the information they provide and then buy your tickets elsewhere, thus saving the commission that they charge. There are 3 reasons why we'd encourage you not to do this. Firstly, a considerable amount of time and effort has gone into developing these valuable tools, and without them, identifying split ticket savings would be very difficult. Secondly, in our experience, these sites sometimes find advanced ticket inventory that other sites seem to miss. Finally, the customer service from them, if there is a problem, has so far been very good. One of the other advantages of these sites is that they often offer more options than the National Rail website and allow you to trade time for money. In other words, you'll often find longer journeys with more changes for less money.
So what else do we think is key for you to be aware of? Well, remember that journeys which contain advanced tickets include tickets which are non-refundable, and any changes both cost a fee of around £10 and also changes are subject to availability. Advanced tickets are quota controlled, so availability can change in seconds. We've noticed that Split My Fare occasionally has a glitch where it shows a fare that is a split fare but does not include the split icon. Here's an example. And the reason that it's cheap is that the system itself does not recognize it as a split fare and so doesn't charge the 15% commission. We promised examples of bonkers pricing in UK rail fares. If you recall, the cheapest advanced through fare on the National Rail website for our 924 train to Fareham was £111.40, and this was for an advanced ticket. Chichester is 20 miles further from Hale than Fareham, and yet you can buy a straight through advanced ticket from Hale to Chichester on a train which actually calls at Fareham before Chichester for as little little as £50. That's less than half to travel and an additional 20 miles.
Similarly, a journey from Hale to London Paddington on a direct train using an advance fare costs around £82. And yet, travel on the same train to Paddington, change trains and continue all the way to South Croydon, a further 15 miles south of London, and pay just £73. Or travel on the same train to Reading, change and travel to Richmond via South West trains and pay less than half, £39. So on the screen now, just a small list of some of the other savings that we've identified. But let's be clear, this is a tiny list of the savings that split ticketing may give you. So what myths and preconceptions do people have about split ticketing?
While some split ticket journeys are cheaper because they involve longer routes with more changes, this is by no means always the case. As we've already alluded to, you don't have to physically get off your train at the split ticket points unless you are changing trains there. But remember, your train must stop there. In our experience, ticket inspectors are familiar with split tickets and don't challenge their use, provided you stick to the ticket validity rules.
You can split your journey using advance tickets. Indeed, this is often the way that split ticketing saves money. Companies will quota control the number of advance tickets they offer at each price bracket, and it's very common for an advance ticket to be unavailable or in an expensive bracket for your entire journey length, but they still have inventory available for shorter legs within the overall trip. Split ticketing tacks these together to create an end-to-end journey. Sometimes it will combine advance with flexible tickets. One thing you do have to remember though is that advance tickets are for a specified train and typically are non-refundable.
Delay repay does apply to split ticketed journeys. So, if you miss a connection and your arrival at final destination is delayed by 15 minutes or more, then you are entitled to compensation for the entire journey cost from beginning to end, provided that your split tickets clearly connect together to create one journey. One thing to be aware of here is that journeys that cross London are best booked, in our view, including the underground in your ticket so that the journey is clearly end-to-end. An example of how this works would be for a journey, say from Portsmouth to Peterborough. You buy a ticket from Portsmouth to London Underground Zone 1 and then a ticket from King's Cross to Peterborough, which comprises the train Portsmouth to Waterloo or Victoria and then the tube to King's Cross, followed by your ticket to Peterborough.
Railcards and group save discounts can be used on split ticket journeys. Just be aware that some railcards have minimum fare or time restrictions, as do group save tickets. But don't worry, both the websites which we use take these into account, but this may explain why in some cases you don't appear to be getting a railcard discount. Before we go, let's just cover a few practical tips that we found useful over the years. If your split ticket journey involves several tickets and/or several trains, then it's possibly worth making a note of your journey details and also consider taking screenshots of your tickets to make it easier to get them checked or get paper tickets or printouts.
This can be especially useful if you get delayed en route. If that's the case and you miss a connection, then being clear with train or station staff about your itinerary can be helpful to prove that you are on a split ticket journey, especially if you missed a train which was on an advance ticket. Even if your travel plans are made at the last minute, it's worth checking for split fares, partly because, as we've shown, some split fares offer a significant discount with walk-up fares, and don't forget that some train companies sell advance tickets as little as 10 minutes before departure. And finally, by all means explore split ticketing for shorter journeys, but just be aware that sometimes the system finds small savings by splitting your journey at smaller, less well-served stations. Look at these carefully and weigh up the lack of flexibility which this may give you if you have to select a service which is relatively infrequent because the smaller station only has, say, a train every hour or two.
So that's it. We hope this has been useful. If you have a spare minute or two, why not have a play with our 2 recommended websites and model a few of your regular trips to see if they might save you money.
Thanks for watching and happy and safe travels.